Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone had a wonderful week. Actually, it's been 2 weeks since I've been on. Hello, my name is Teresa Harper, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, located in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon. Hello, hope everybody has had a good day. Go ahead and comment and let me know when you're on and make sure you can hear me. And we will wait a minute or two. Hello, Laura. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Just want to make sure the sound is good. Okay. So, are we good? Uh-oh. Are we not good? I am not hearing any sound on my part, so that doesn't. Oh, good. Great sound. Thank you, Laura. Good. Whew. All right. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Jennifer. We are going to be using some online exclusive products today. So we will get started here in just a minute or two. First of all, I want to show the make and take that we did last week at the retreat. For those of you who weren't at the retreat, this is an easel card, and I used the All About Autumn suite of products. And so we've just got the easel, and then it turns into oh, maybe this is why I have problems, because I'm stuck on there we go. There we go. So it becomes a luminary. And I think you can see that pretty well in the photo. So we are good. Let's just make sure I'm on the right Wi-Fi here on the laptop. And that way, I don't think I am. Okay, we'll go ahead and reconnect that. And then I'll be able to see your comments better. Okay. Hopefully we're all good there. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Just wanted to share that with you. Here is a second version of that using just some different paper. So you can see that. Just a nice little card that you could make for someone that you would hand deliver and they could use for an autumn decoration. So anyway, that one's pretty nice. If you all want me to do a tutorial, please let me know in the comments below and I will do one. If there's others that didn't get to participate in the crafting retreat last week. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Turn that off and get these out of the way, and everyone should be good. Let's set those aside and get back to, this is an online exclusive coming out on November 7th. It's called Fluffiest Friends. You can purchase them separately or in a bundle. When you purchase them in a bundle, you save 10% off the total cost of adding the two items together. So it's always a great savings when you buy the bundle. Okay, set these away and let's get started with our first card. Now, the first card that we're making tonight is a great way to use up tiny scraps of paper that you have in your designer series paper collection. So we're going to start with a card base in Berry Burst. This is a standard A2 card size, 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it in the middle at 4.25. So let's go ahead and give that a good burnish with our bone folder. get that all done. And hopefully, my husband had cataract surgery today, so if he needs me, I'll have to run. But hopefully, we'll all be good. Okay, so we've got just some scraps of paper here. So with our card base, you'll need 8 scraps of Designer Series paper. This is from the Bright and Beautiful collection in the annual catalog. And it's a 6x6 paper sack called Bright and Beautiful. You get 48 sheets, 4 each of 12 double-sided designs. And these make great papers. I love this nice, bright, and bold stack that you can use for whatever occasion. All right. So we're going to take some 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch squares, and you need 8 of them. So again, 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 inches. And then you'll need a piece that is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. This is a card layout that my upline, Melissa Zesson, showed us during a meeting last weekend. So we're just going to lay these out how we want to, and you can do this in any orientation, whether you want to do landscape or portrait, but you'll want to lay out your pieces into the pattern that looks best to you. Okay. Let's try this. And then we're going to put this 2 5/8 inch here. Now you could put this 2 5/8 here, you could put it here, you could put it here, your choice. Mine's going to go here, and I have already embossed this with the 3D Basics embossing folder, and I've used the one that has the bubbles, and that is the nice deep impression that you get. Those are also an online exclusive. They're already available in the online store. Okay, so let's like to look at my papers here. And I don't want these two together. And I don't really want those two together. So I'm going to move those. So you just keep moving them around until you're happy with them. This one does not look to be the right size. It looks to be a little bit off, so let's double check that. We need it to be 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. Looks to be just a hair. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that up as best I can here. You can tell it's just a hair larger on the one side. So let's see if we can get that to, nope, it's not going to slice. Okay. Well, let's just take a pair of scissors. I'm going to take just a hair off of that side because I think it looks just a little bit off. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this, I'm going to put it in the different orientation. And all I did was take 1 1/4 inch strips that I had left over. Actually, I think I had some 2-inch strips, and I cut them into 1 1/2 inch, and then I just cut off chunks, 1 1/4 inches to make a square. So any little piece that you have laying in your scraps will work. And I kind of like that layout, so we're going to go with that. I'm just going to take and put down some adhesive. Actually, I'm going to use liquid glue. And I'm just going to very gently lay these down. I don't want to press them in place until I'm happy with the result. So we'll just put that on. If you have any of those small little scraps left that are laying around just 1¼ inch wide, or maybe it's 1¾ inches. I should have done this side one before I put down that middle one. That makes it a little bit easier. Okay, because now I'm going to need to move this. But fortunately, I didn't press it down. So I can pick that up and put it into place. Now I can set those 3 down. Then I'm going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to set this one down, and I'm looking for an even border on the 2 sides. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the right corner. Go for the even border again. Okay, and then I'll go to the middle. Add this one in. Okay. And then we're going to add this one. I'm going to set this one back right here like so. I don't want to put this one on yet because we're going to do some decorating on that one. So we'll just get some of the liquid glue here. Tombow is what I've got in my little glue thing. Okay. Put that down. Okay. Now if I wanted, I could easily go this orientation. And you can see how you could move this around in any direction. Put these wherever you wanted. But we're going to go here. So let's go ahead and get our stamping done. Let's grab a piece of basic white. And I'm going to grab the little hamster and the bunny rabbit from this set. Then I'm going to get my early espresso. I'm going to ink up my bunny. Give that a good press. Ink up my hamster. Got that one. And while I'm at it, for my next card, I'm going to take the bear. And I'm going to ink him up. That way he's already done drying and ready. And then the last thing that we need is the sentiment. Now this sentiment comes from the stamp set So Sincere. This is in the mini catalog. It's a great little stamp set. It's also a $1 million sales achiever. That is by Sandy Hancock. And when you get these $1 million logos, if you just look on the spine, it'll tell you who inspired that, who met that goal. Okay? So we're going to take this vertical Happy Birthday and the Berry Burst ink. And actually, we're going to try this. I've taken and die cut from the Wonderful Thoughts dies this label, and I'm going to put it in the vertical position. We're going to see how good I am at this. I've already actually stamped and die cut it, so if this doesn't work, we have one ready to go. I'm just going to give that a good set down there. I don't want to get too crazy because I don't want to bend that out. And there we go. So there's our sentiment. I'll give you a look at that wonderful thoughts. This is one of those stamp sets that comes with a coordinating die, and it's all sentiments, and there is a coordinating die for each one of these sentiments. It's really a great product. And then you get extra pieces for extra labels, and you get a couple of hearts and flowers. Really a good set. And again, right now in the annual catalog, if you purchase these together, they're bundled and you save 10%. Okay, so we've got all of our stamping. Now let's go ahead and bring this back in, and we'll grab some Stampin' Blends. And we'll do some coloring real quick. So I'm going to use Azure Afternoon, the light and the dark for the balloon on the hamster. So let's go ahead and open that up. And we're just going to color that in. And then I'm going to take the light Azure Afternoon. And we'll blend that all together and fill that in. And I'm going to leave a little shine mark in here, just with a very small piece there of white. So that's the Azure Afternoon. Then for my little hamster, I'm going to use light Flirty Flamingo and the Crumb Cake markers, both light and dark. Start with Flirty Flamingo. I'm just going to give his little nose and his feet here, and a little tiny bit in the ears. And then we're going to go in with the dark crumb cake, and where the artist has the Color Me lines here, I'm just going to flick a little bit of dark crumb cake on those fur marks. And I'm going to go under hamster's chin here, a little bit on the ears, and a little bit under his hands right there. Okay, then we'll go back with the light crumb cake. I'm going to leave the cheek area here white, and I'm just going to blend in with my light crumb cake marker. Okay, just blending that all in, making sure I don't have any harsh lines where the dark and light come together. I'm going to leave just a little bit in the belly area there. Yeah, not going to color that in. All right. So now the little hamster's done. For my bunny rabbit here, I'm going to take the light and dark gray granite, and again, I'm taking Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to start with the Flirty Flamingo, put a little bit in the rabbit ears there, and right here on the toes and the pads of the feet. And I'm not completely filling in the pads of the feet, I'm just putting it where the Color Me Here lines are. And the nose, right there. Then, actually I don't need the dark gray granite, I just want light gray granite. And where the Color Me lines are here on the outside, that's what I call them, the Color Me lines, we're going to just put a little bit of gray granite in those areas, just to make it look, I want the bunny to be white, but I don't want her to look stark white because she'll have a little bit more life in her if we give her just a little bit of color. And again, we're going to give her just a little bit under the chin where there would be a shadow, and here under the arms, and right in here. Okay. Kind of draw in those feet just a little bit more. And then I'm going to grab the color lifter and I'm going to blend that out. By doing this, it doesn't look like we forgot to color her, and gives her a little bit of life. Okay, and there we have her. Now let's go in with a little bit of light berry burst, and we're just going to dot some color on the cherry. And then we're going to take light bubble bath and add that to the cupcake wrapper. And the dark bubble bath, we're just going to draw those lines on the cupcake wrapper. And because that's such a small area, that's just going to blend and I don't need to do anything additional. I'm going to start with the light lemon lolly on my frosting here. And then I'll go back with the dark lemon lolly, and I'll put a little bit where the artist has marked it here for a little bit of shading. Okay, and now these are ready to cut out. Okay, so we have coordinating dies for those. We don't need to fussy cut. So we'll just put our little hamster here and our little bunny here. And through the magic of television, that is already done for us. Okay, so we can put those away. All right. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. You also want to take and put just a little bit of Wink of Stella on your balloon here and then on the frosting of the cupcake. Okay. All right, so we've got those ready to go. Move these out of the way. From a piece of Granny Apple Green, I've taken these two little grass dies and I've pre-cut those, and they are now ready for us. Did that ahead of time just to save us a little bit of time. So let's go ahead and set that aside and start the assembly. So I'm going to bring in my piece of bubble bath, 2 5/8 by 2 5/8, which has been embossed. There we go. And actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and just stick this on because I can. Because I'm going to go over a little bit on these little animals. So we'll stick those down. Right there. Yep. I don't know, for some reason it just looks better this direction. I don't know why. Okay, so there we go. Got that in there. Now we'll put our little bunny here. And our little hamster is going to go here. And then we're going to add our grass here. So let's go ahead and add our little bunny first. And you just want to make sure on this that your bunny's ear stays inside the card base. Okay. And then we're going to put our hamster on. And I'm using liquid glue because this is a 3D embossed folder. And liquid glue will grip it the best. Now I could pop these up, but I chose not to. Okay, so we'll put those on. And I did that because I wanted my grass to sit here. So we're going to take our grass and put this right here like so. Okay, and then the grass pieces are going to overlap just a tiny little bit. Right here, we'll just put them in, and then it will look like our little fluffy friends are sitting in the grass and not out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a good press with my block. Okay, and then we're going to take some dimensionals and add our sentiment. And I am at the end here of my sheet, so I'm just going to take a piece of edge piece there, stick that in the middle, and then we'll add this right along here. Okay, and finally, we got to add a little bit of bling. So we're going to use the Tinsel Gems 4-pack. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use, they come in lemon lolly, berry, blueberry bushel, berry burst, pretty peacock, and lemon lime twist. I'm going to use the berry burst. I'm going to take a large one. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that. The berry burst is looking pretty good on there. And then let's go, let's see. I want to go about right there. And then I'll take another small one. And I'm just going to put this down here, right there. Okay. And there is the outside of our first card for tonight. For the inside, I've taken another sentiment from that So Sincere stamp set. Right here, we've got Hope Your Day is a Happy One. And I stamped that on the inside. And I used the bees from Fluffiest Friends and the flowers. These flowers are colored in Bubble Bath, Daffodil Delight, and Lemon Lime Twist. And I used Daffodil Delight on those bees and added a half-inch piece of the same designer series paper that we used on the front of our card. So we'll just add this. This piece is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, which is my standard inside card size because you can get 5 out of a sheet of cardstock with just a little bit of scrap left over to stamp on. So we're going to add that. And then for the envelope, again, I've used the flowers and the bees, and I'm going to take a piece of that same designer series paper that I had left over, just a small 2 1/4 inch by 6 inch piece. I'm going to add some liquid glue to my envelope flap. Okay. And then I'm going to just carefully place this at the fold line. Press that down. I like to, once I get it in good placement, and I'm happy with it, I'll take my bone folder and just give it a good press. Okay, and we'll take our scissors, and I'll just cut along the envelope edge here and remove that excess. And if you cut a little bit of the envelope, it really isn't a big deal, because who's going to know? Okay, there we go. And now we have a pretty envelope to go along with our birthday card there. Okay, there's project number 1. I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope it gives you some ideas on how you can use up some of your smaller scraps, because you only need a 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch piece of designer series paper. And of course you can put regular cardstock in any of these spaces if you so choose. But you could use that layout for any occasion. All right, let's go ahead and get that out of the way so I don't get ink everywhere. Get that cleaned up. I'm just using my Simply Chamois. You'll find that in the annual catalog. Clean those stamps, and I forgot the most important one, which is the Berry Burst. That color tends to go everywhere if you get it on you. It like spreads. Kind of like real red. It gets some inky fingers. And man, did I have some Berry Burst problems last week. I had Berry Burst everywhere from an ink refill that kind of exploded in a box. Okay, so there we go, project number 1. Let's move on to project number 2. We'll set this aside. Okay, now this card I really struggled with. I had it together and then I didn't like quite the way it turned out. My vision didn't come together quite like I wanted, but I finally did get it to work out. So I'll show you my not so happy with card. And then I'll show you we'll make the card and then I'll show you the card I wasn't real happy with. We are going to add Forever Forest to our card for this card, along with the Fluffiest Friends. In addition, I'm going to use a sentiment, the Birthday Wishes sentiment from Sending Smiles. You could use any sentiment. Neither one of these particular stamp sets, Fluffiest Friends or Forever Forest, come with any sentiment. So you have to pull in a sentiment stamp set. I just happened to pull in Sending Smiles and Birthday Wishes for the outside of this card. I can't remember what I put on the inside, but we'll take a look at that in a bit here. Okay, so we've got these two. And let's see, I'm also going to be using, and I know these are on back order, but they'll be back, not these, the Merriest Trees dies. They'll be back around November 6th, so just in time for online exclusives. Hopefully they will come in on time, and you'll be able to get these. Now this comes with the Merriest Trees stamp set. It's in the mini catalog, and it's bundled together. I think the star of the show is the dies for this, and we'll be using this maybe next week, the Merriest Trees. So today, the only thing we're using out of the Merriest Trees is this tag. I love this tag. It's a great size, can be used for any card occasion, doesn't have to do anything with Christmas whatsoever. Fun to make Christmas tags, but I'm going to show you that it's not limited to Christmas tags. So let's go ahead and we'll put that away. I've already cut my tag out of basic white. Out of the mini pocket dies, I'm using this little oval for my sentiment. I love this oval. It works for lots of little sentiments. This is a good wingman. Plus, if you're for the holidays, you can easily take and cut this. It makes a mini pocket, and then it's a gift card pocket for any of your holiday cards that you need to put cash or gift cards in. Okay? So if I have time, I'll cut one of those and show you how that works. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our supplies. We've got a card base of Knight of Navy. And again, this is an A2, 5.5 by 8.5. Now, I did have a question from a viewer the other day about what size envelopes we use. And I wanted to, I always use Stampin' Up! Envelopes. And let's see, do these give the size on them? 5 3/4 by 4 3/8 inches. And these are made specifically to fit a standard A2 size card, which is the 5.5 by 4 1/4 once you fold them in half. Okay, so, and that's here in the United States that we use that size. I'm not sure what they have in other countries because they use a lot of those countries use A4 size. So, but here in the United States, those are the envelopes that I use. I use both the Very Vanilla and the Basic White. Of course, we'll be using Basic White tonight. And so we've got this. And then I am using a paper that I've had in my stash since the beginning of the annual catalog. It's called Countryside Inn. And I have not used this paper. And so I thought, I want to use this paper. So here is what I have. I actually split this pack with a friend of mine, which is what I encourage you all to do. If you don't want a full pack of paper, split your packs with a friend. Then you get one sheet of each in the 12 by 12s. And then you can have all kinds of different packs of paper without overwhelming yourself with DSP. But I wanted to use these. I hadn't touched this paper. And the colors are Balmy Blue, Boho Blue, Misty Moonlight, and Night of Navy. So what I have done for this card is I took 3 different patterns from the set and I cut 3-inch strips. Okay. Then from that, I cut another 3-inch strip, and then I cut each of those strips in half at 1.5, which gives me 1.5 by 3-inch strips. And then I can make multiple cards. So that's what we have tonight that we're going to be using. And I've got plenty left over to make more cards with this same layout. It's a very easy layout to put together. So we've got those 3 pieces. Let me put this back before I lose it. I don't want to not know what I've got there. So we've got those. I've got a piece of the Basic White, which I cut with the Merriest Trees tag. I've got a piece of Basic White, which I cut with the oval from the Mini Pocket dies. And then from the die set, the Fluffiest Friends die set, I cut the Beehive, and I cut that in crushed curry. And I took a deep, let's see, the 300, SU 300, which is part of the Medium Deep Natural Tones collection, and I colored in the little beehive hole. A little word to the wise, when you do that, be very careful, otherwise it bleeds outside the hole. So you'll want to very gently dab in there. Okay, don't get crazy, because if you do, then it will bleed outside your hole. Okay, so now let's bring back that bear. that we stamped earlier on the basic white. And I'm going to do just a real quick coloring because actually I've already done this and cut him out so he's ready to go. Okay, so these are the colors that we'll be using. We'll be using the light and dark pumpkin pie, light and dark boho blue, the medium deep SU 300, and the dark daffodil delight. Oh, and we need a little crumb cake. Don't forget the light crumb cake. We need that one too. Okay. Pretty sure that's all the colors. Yep. So we're going to start with the medium deep SU 300. That was for the beehive hole that I showed you right here. Okay. Natural Tones Medium Light SU 800. I'm going to use for the ears here and for the bear's snout, I guess you would call it. I don't know. This little area here. Okay. And for the pads of his feet. Oh, maybe I need to move up a bit here for you. Okay. And I'm coloring on my silicone mat to protect my surface. And the other thing that does is it doesn't let the ink soak into the paper behind it. So it'll stay wet for a little bit longer. And I'm going to put some shading in here just by going back over this area. Just a little bit to add that shading. And I'm going to do the same thing here where the artist put the lines on the pad of his feet and in the ears. Okay, so now we're done with that color. Let's go ahead and color the honey pot. We're going to start with dark boho blue. Actually, check that. Let's do the honey. So we're going to start with a little bit of light crumb cake, and I know that sounds a little odd. And I'm just going to put some dark spots on my honey here with the light crumb cake. And then I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight, dark, and I'm going to go over that with my dark Daffodil Delight. Okay, I thought that made it look a little bit more like honey. Okay, now we'll take the dark boho blue, and I'm going to go at the top of the honey pot here and go just around the corner. Go under the rim and around the honey. And there's some Artist Color Me Here shading lines around that honey and at the edge of the pot. Okay. All right. So then we're going to switch to the light boho blue. And I'm going to go ahead and blend in right over the top of where I've already colored with the boho blue. And blend those colors together, the light and the dark. And I'm going to leave myself just a little bit of shine on my pot there. All right. So then all I have left is my actual bear. I'm going to take the dark pecan pie. And again, I'm going to take some flicks of my brush, or of my bullet tip here, where the artist has some color me lines here. It's supposed to be fur, so I'm going to put the dark here, flick some color there, pad of the feet. I'm going to go down and put a shadow right there because I think there would be one there. And then I'm going to flick some more color here. Okay, and I want to get this paw over here. And there's a little bit of shading over here. Okay, the top of the head. I want to get these ears right here where the artist has put some lines, and I'm going to flick a little color here. And then I'm going to go under his arm and under the honey pot. And right along this edge, I'm going to put a little V of dark color in there. Okay. And then I'm going to finish that off with my light pecan pie. I'm going to take my brush tip though. I'm going to very gently add in the light around his ears here. And then I'm going to go back in, go over where I've already been with the dark. I'm using my brush tip for this because I can color it in a lot faster this way. Covers more area. I don't have as much control this way, so I've got to be a little bit more careful than I would with the bullet tip. And I like to rotate the tip of my brush so that I'm not constantly using the same edge as I color. They tell you to rotate your colored pencils when you color to keep them sharp on all sides. So I'm applying that concept with the brush tip of my marker, figuring it can't hurt to put a little more even wear on them and keep them nicer longer. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to my bullet tip because that foot is just too small for me. To go around the pads of those feet there. Okay, and there is our cute little fluffy bear. Okay, so again, I would take the coordinating die and cut him out. And this is what we have. Okay, just run that through your mini die cut machine or your Big Boss. All right, now, while we're at it, we're going to also cut the tree branch. This is also in the Fluffiest Friends dies. And then a few weeks back, I made some wreaths and I used the smushing watercolor technique. And I had some pieces left over. So I cut out a bunch of leaves also using the Fluffiest Friends dies. Let me show you those. So you get lots of these little leaf dies. Some of them come in pairs where you get two at a time, a large and a small. Okay, so I cut all those. This is the branch. And when I did my branch, I took a piece of crumb cake cardstock. Okay, so I just took a piece of crumb cake cardstock. I took my dark and light pecan pie and I used the brush tips. And I scribbled on some color. Okay, just like that. Then I went back with my dark pecan pie and I scribbled on some more color. And I don't care that it's got spaces here. And then I cut out my tree branch. And by doing that, I get variations in color, which gives it just a little bit more texture. Now you can do that or you can not, it doesn't matter. I chose to do that. I thought it made kind of a cool effect. So that's what I'm using. So let's get all of our pieces here and start assembling our card. We do have a little bit of stamping left to do. So let's get that done because we need to stamp on this card base. So we are going to take the tree, the single tree from Forever Forest, and we're also going to take the moon and stars from Forever Forest. Let's move these out of the way. We're going to take Night of Navy ink, and I'm going to ink up the stars and the moon here. Whoop. And I'm just going to put this up in the upper right corner. Okay, that's all I need to do. And then I'm going to take this single tree and also in the Night of Navy. I'm going to put this tree right down here in this corner. And then I'm going to add a second tree right next to it. Okay. And then I'm going to set that aside so I don't get Night of Navy ink everywhere. And then we are going to start assembling our card. But first, let's go ahead and stamp our little piece here. Let's bring this in, our silicone mat. This is a little bit tedious. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. I'm going to grab my early espresso ink. And I'm taking the little bee stamp from Fluffiest Friends. And I'm going to start with, let's see, let's start with, which one? This little bee right here. I'm going to ink this little single bee up here. Okay. And I'm going to put it right about there. Now I'm going to clean this stamp. And dry it off. Okay, and then I'm going to pick another bee. And I'm going to ink up just that single bee. Just getting the corner. And if you you could use a piece of washi tape or post-it tape. I'm just going to wipe that off and make sure I dry it. And then I'm going to take that bee right there. And I'm going to put it over here like so. And again, I'm going to clean that stamp on my chamois. And then I'm going to take this top bee right here. Okay. And I'm going to put that right down here in the middle. Like so. Okay. I'm going to put my early espresso away, set aside my bees, and then I'm going to bring in birthday wishes from the Sending Smiles stamp set. And again, I'll take my Night of Navy ink. And I'm going to ink up the wishes on birthday. Again, you could use some post-it tape or washi tape to mask that off. Oh, that was close. That was almost a disaster. Let's get a good grip on that, okay? Then I'm going to set this down in here, and I'm going to look between my bees here. Make sure I've got that about even here. And hopefully I don't put my head in your way. And I'm going to put my wishes down. Okay. I'm going to clean that stamp. I'm going to get it nice and dry. Okay. And then I'm going to ink up birthday. And I'm going to put that over the top of wishes. Okay, and there is our little sentiment label for our card. I like to take these stamps that are long horizontally and make them into a two-step when I stacked sentiment when I need a shorter sentiment, but I really like the one that we have. Okay, so we are ready to start our assembly. I think that's everything. We'll start with our designer series papers. And I'm going to take these. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. We'll get that done here in just a second, though. Okay, so we're going to take this and stick it about right here at an angle. Okay. And then I'm going to take my other colored one, more solid color. I'm going to put this over here at an angle, making sure that I keep my moon and those stars showing. I'm going to angle that in. And then I'm going to take this stripey one, my lighter color, and I'm going to stick this up here in the middle like so. Okay, now we're going to set this aside. We're going to bring this and this in, and I am going to put this at an angle like so. And then I'm going to take the 5 trees stamp that comes from Forever Forest. I'm going to ink that up in Old Olive. Okay, give that a good inking. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to stamp them straight like so. On that tag. So that's the look I have when I'm done. Okay, now I've got just a tiny bit of ink on my silicone pad because it went slightly off the edge. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then we're going to take our blending brushes and I'm going to get some blue and some Old Olive. And again, I'm going to keep this at an angle. And I'm going to get the Old Olive ink. Let's see, I might have enough ink left in my blending brush. So if I do, then we won't need to re-ink. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. So I'll take my Old Olive. I'm going to put a little bit of ink in there just to make it look like the ground. Okay, got that. And then I'm going to take some of the light boho blue. And I'm going to put just a little bit on there. And I want this to be fairly light. So I'm not going to put a lot of pressure. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of blue sky. Okay. And then we're going to set those aside because we're done with that. All right, now we are ready for assembly. And we'll put that away because I've got some ink on there. Okay. We still good? Oh, thank you guys. I'm glad you liked the first card. Sorry, I'm not very good at looking over to see what you said. So I'm going to put this card on at that angle so that my trees look like they're straight. And this is going to go on with some Stampin' Seal. I don't really care to use liquid glue on white if I don't have to, because sometimes it can show through if you get it too thick. So we're going to put this down here about like so. Okay, let's take our bear and let's look. So he's going to sit down here. Okay, and I'm going to try and cover up the edge of this piece of designer series paper down here. Okay, so I've got that. Then let's go ahead and pop up our bear with some dimensionals. And again, I've got my edges, so I'm just gonna pop off some of these. Give them a little cut. Pop up my bear, and I don't want a saggy middle. So let's take another piece and put it right there. Okay. And put our bear right here. All like so. So he's sitting in the forest. Okay. And then we're going to add our tree branch here. A little bit of liquid glue. Now you could use an adhesive sheet on the back of this piece to make it easier to adhere. And before we set that down, we're going to grab our little beehive here. And I want that to look like it's hanging in front of the tree, but over to the side enough here. So I'm just going to move that out of the way and give that a press. Okay. And then we're going to take another piece of dimensional here. Let's see, can I get 3 of those? Nope. Go like that. Put that down the middle. Okay. I'm going to pop that right there. And then we're going to start adding our leaves. Now you could easily use old olive tree leaves here. I just happen to have a piece of that watercolor paper that I didn't want to go to waste, and that's why I used it. But old olive leaves would look just fine if you just cut them out of a piece of old olive. I just needed to get this scrap off my desk. Because it was starting to drive me crazy and I didn't want to just throw it away. Not after I went to the trouble of doing all the watercolor smooshing. Whoops. Okay, I'll put that down, give it a little push. And then I want one of the small leaves. Whoops. And I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue there. Remember, just a dot, not a lot. Tombow glue is good, strong glue, so you don't need a ton. Okay, so there's that. And I still have some extra leaves to make another card. And finally, we're going to take our birthday wishes, and I'm going to put this down flat. Well, I am if I can get my tape rolling. You ever have trouble with your Stampin' Seal? Just run it on your silicone pad. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to color my bees, but we can do that once they're on the card. It's no big deal. Let's take some dark Daffodil Delight here. And just give it a dab. And really, you just want to dab it. Don't actually color it, just dot. Otherwise, it'll bleed outside. And then I want the Wink of Stella. And I'm going to put that on the bee wings to give them a little bit of shine. I'll give this a little bit more shine. There we go. Boop. All right. So let's see. For the inside of this card, I've taken that same tree stamp and then sending you smiles for every moment of your special day. This is from Very Best Occasions. I encourage you to look around at all your stamp sets that have sentiments in them and find what fits your need, especially when there's no sentiments in the stamp set. And I stamped that in Night of Navy. And this Very Best Occasions is a wonderful stamp set because this has stamps for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for sympathy, just to say you love someone. And then, of course, you've got the happy birthday. Excuse me. So that's a very versatile stamp set, and you'll find that in the annual catalog. Okay, so we've got that. And then for the envelope, again, I've stamped those trees. Okay, so there's that. Now, I promised I would show you the one that I started with that I wasn't real fond of. And this is it. I used a piece of boho blue for the tag, and I embossed the Night of Navy with the Tree Rings hybrid embossing folder. And I mean, it's okay, but it wasn't happy with that. Mostly these two, the embossing and this tag color. And then here's where I just use regular old olive for the leaves. So anyway, there's that. Tell me which card you prefer. Do you prefer the one that we made tonight or the one that I made originally that I discarded? Let's see. Let's see what you think. Which card is your favorite here of these two? Go ahead and let me know. The one with the white tag or the one with the boho blue tag? And I'll see what you have to say. All right, I'm not seeing anything, ladies. Coming across white. Good. Laura, I'm glad you liked that one. What about you, Cynthia? Jennifer? Anyone else want to chime in on which one's their favorite? White, Cynthia? Okay. All right, so it's looking like the white is the favorite. And it's my favorite too, of course. So, all right, so we've got this card tonight, and then we have this one, both using the Fluffiest Friends. I really hope that you find these layouts helpful because either one of these layouts can work beautifully for any occasion, any stamp set. It's an easy way. If you get into a slump, just pick those up. Take 3 pieces of designer series paper that coordinate, cut them at 1.5 by 3, add a tag, put on your focal image, and you'll have a finished card in no time. And this one is a great way to use up your scraps. All right, everybody, I will see you back here again next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Thanks so much for watching. Good night. Hello, Cher.